Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we are going to create a box for the timer. So I have actually resized the form a bit to make it look a bit spacious. So to add a box for the timer, we need to do it via a label. So on the left here, we've got a toolbox, and under the toolbox, we have to look for a label. There's one called label here. So we click to add the label. All right, we'll drag the label so it's positioned towards you can see the little blue, I'm not sure if you can notice the little blue vertical and horizontal lines. They are there to help align the label to the form. All right, so we're going to change while the label is highlighted. You can see there it says label 1. We're going to give the label a name. We are also going to resize the label. Let's give the label control a name. So under the name property here, we're going to change it from label 1 to time label. Notice the camel case where the first word is a lowercase and the second word is uppercase. That's the first letter of the second word is an uppercase. At the moment, the border around the label has got no style, so we're going to change that. So here we're going to look for the property that we can use to control the border for our label. So the style here at the moment is none. So under this border style property, we're going to change that to fixed single. So if I see now it's got a nice single border around it. Next property we're going to change, we are going to change the auto size property so that it will allow us to resize the box. At the moment, the default is true. We're going to change that to false so we can resize the box. You notice the box has now expanded, so we can just drag it in a bit and use the vertical and horizontal blue line to help us align it. So that was possible using the auto size property. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually change the size of the label itself. The next property I like to change is the actual size of the labels. When you are changing properties, make sure you are changing the properties for the correct label. You notice I've got the label highlighted, and so it gives me the property. You can always tell by the name of the label because it's very easy to change the wrong properties. For example, if I haven't got that selected and I come here, I will be changing the properties for the form itself rather than the label. So very important that make sure you've got your label highlighted and you've got the name showing up in the property window. So I'm going to change the size here. I'm going to change the value to 200 by 30. And that should make it a bit smaller. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just drag that in a bit and align it there. I'll make that a bit wider. I'm happy with that. The next thing I want to change is get rid of the text label inside that box. So I'm just come here, look for the text property and just delete that. All right, so now we have just a nice box for our timer to display. The next thing I'm going to do is add another label and input some text and change the text label for that label. Before I add another label, I'm just going to click on the label again and I want to change the font size. Okay, so I need to look for the font property. So this is the font property and the size, I want to change that to, I'll make it 17.25. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'll exit that label and add another label. I'll come to the toolbox, click on label and just drag that label, make sure it aligns properly with the other label. I'm happy with that. And make sure you have got the right label highlighted when you're changing the property. You don't want to change property for the wrong label. So I've got that highlighted. So first thing I'm going to do is change the name for the label. So I'm just going to scroll down where I see the name. Where it's got the text, I'm going to just change the text. I'm going to type in time left. So it will be a time left label, and there should be a property for name. There you go, got name, and I'm going to type in time label. It's always good to name your labels appropriately to reflect what they represent. So on this time left here, I've called it time left text box. So it's actually a text box for the time left, while this label here is actually the time label. All right, so there is a distinction between both of them. On the time left label, I just want to check the font size. I want to make sure the font is a big size font. So under the font property, it's got 16.25. I'm going to leave that as it is, but that is changeable if you wish to do so. So that will be it for this lecture. We have created the timer box for our maths quiz. Thanks very much for watching. Take care and bye for now.